What's up, all you lovely internet movie fans, and welcome back to Caped Commentary. I'm, of course, your host, Austin Johnson, and I have a packed show full of movie news to dive into and discuss for you guys today. We have Stranger Things. What an absolute phenomenal debut. We have part 2 coming on Christmas, and the finale, it's going to be in theaters. You already know your boy will be there. Supergirl. That trailer is coming out this week. I am so excited for that. There's a quick, brief teaser online that you can watch now. A lot to talk about with that and my excitement for that one, along with Brainiac. We have potential the top 3 rumored people to be playing Brainiac, and I'm big fans of all of them, and they all bring different things to that role. Avengers Endgame is getting re-released next year in theaters with a brand new post-credit scene that will tie and lead directly into Avengers Doomsday, which Doomsday is apparently a direct sequel to Endgame. Whew, lot to discuss there. ScarJo joining the DC Universe in Matt Reeves' The Batman, and she's going to be in The Batman Part 2. Who could she be playing? And a ton more to discuss. Let's dive into all that movie news with right now and talk about it with you. Let's first dive into Stranger Things, and Part 1 dropped the past week over Thanksgiving. What a phenomenal drop, a few episodes that was. I loved it all. It's so great to be back with these characters. We're in our final season. I mean, just the ending of episode 4 alone and where that could lead to and the different possibilities, I'm all here for it. So, I mean, we pick up with our people. We're here in Hawkins. We know what happened at the end of season 4. The military is there. Vecna's unleashed hell all over this. It's just a train wreck, and they're trying to figure out different things. We have all our characters back. Murray's back. Of course, we know we lost Eddie, and they're going into the Upside Down now. They're kind of actively exploring. We have a new character in I forget her name, but she plays older Terminator in Sarah Connor. But all this is going on. 11 is being weakened by this new, there's some type of kryptonite stuff that's being used against her. We find out eventually through the flow of the episodes that it's 8 from one of the prior seasons, and actually an episode that a lot of people just do not like. But it's a cool reveal because it ties in the through lines of those prior seasons, and it's a very good reveal, because we all thought it was maybe Vecna being captured back there, and Max also, she's in Henry's mind, she's trying to figure it out. Henry, he's taking Holly and a couple other children, so there's just a lot going on, but we all build up to episode 4, and that ending when Vecna comes in like Undertaker at WrestleMania, wipes out the military, takes out everyone, just awesome. He's just using all of his powers, just some gruesome, brutal deaths too. It was really cool to watch. And of course, it was really cool because Mike has never actually been in Upside Down, I don't believe, and has never actually seen what Vecna looks like. And so he looks horrified. And when he sees his silhouette walking out, and Vecna wiped out everybody. And again, I thought he was going to take out Joyce, just throws her aside. He takes the children. He's gone. He's in and out. Just it was so cool. And then the Demogorgons, they're about to strike on all these different people that we care about. And then we see Will just yells, and all the Demogorgons are frozen midair. He has powers, and he just makes them all float up and just takes them all. It was so cool. It was like watching Cap pick up Mjolnir in Avengers Endgame, and you're just cheering yes. So I cannot wait for the next drop, which comes out on Christmas now, and bring it on. And that finale is going to be in theaters. I am going to be there. I can't wait to watch how they close out the show. There's so many different thoughts and theories out there. I'm so excited for it. I'm so happy to have Stranger Things back in my life. Bring it on. It was such an enjoyable watch, and I'm just so excited now to get ready for the next drop that's happening on Christmas Day, and then that final drop is happening New Year's Eve, and then on Christmas Day, I can see it in theater. I'm here for it. Bring it on. I need all the Stranger Things in my life. But speaking of Avengers Endgame, they're re-releasing it in theaters next year, September 25th, my sister's birthday, shout out to her, and we're adding a new post-credit scene that is reportedly going to be a direct tie-in to Avengers Doomsday and going to lead us into that film that will be coming out 3 months later. It's also being said that Doomsday is a direct sequel to Avengers Endgame. The Russo brothers will, of course, be filming that new scene, that new post-credit scene at the end of Avengers Endgame. First of all, I would be there if that wasn't even going to be in the film because I love Endgame. It's such a great fun watch. It's such a just emotional, experiential ride to watch in theaters. Watching that portal scene, watching Cap pick up Mjolnir, seeing him say I am Iron Man and snap, all those moments you can watch on the big screen. It's so emotional, such a great ride. But then knowing that we're getting that new post-credit scene directed by the Russo brothers, similar to how we got it in Thunderbolts, which that was a whole fully fleshed out 4 to 5 minute scene. So it's probably going to be something similar to that. I think it's going to be something to do with Doctor Doom. And it's going to probably explain his initial rationale. And we're going to find out that he's actually been in the background, pulling the strings, doing all these different things for years now, sowing the seeds so he can eventually save the multiverse, but it's actually going to lead to its collapse and how to create Battle World and blah, blah, blah. But It's a very interesting dynamic in what they're doing, and I think it's so smart to do this, to tie these in together now and pit Doctor Doom. And I'm very curious to see what he's going to be doing, what his initial motives are to start this, and then eventually find out an explanation of why he looks like RDJ, which he's probably just like a doppelganger from another universe, obviously. But just kind of seeing how they explain that, and then how the heroes eventually seeing that. So I'm all for this. I love this. I will be there in theaters next year to watch this release, and I can't wait to see what that post-credit scene is. It has me so excited for that. Now, let's dive into some DC news, and there's a lot on the horizon for DC coming up too. First off, we're imminent now for a Supergirl trailer. It's going to come out either tomorrow or the next day, so we're getting it in about 24 to 48 hours. I'm very curious to see what the tone is. Again, this is the first movie in the DC universe, in the James Gunn's DC universe, that he isn't directing. This is a complete new person. So I'm curious to see the tone, how it's going to do, what kind of storylines are going to... I know they're pulling from the Woman of Tomorrow comic, which is an absolute great comic from everything that I've been told and everything that I've read about. Haven't read the full thing, but I know bits and pieces, so I'm very excited for that. Apparently, we're also going to get our first look at Lobo in the trailer. Jason Momoa, of course, playing Lobo. I'm all for it. I'm very excited. I thought just like the small brief instance that we got of Kara in the end of Superman kind of very much established a completely different tone from Superman, and she should be. So I'm very curious to see kind of how this is. It looks kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. They released a teaser where she's just sitting on a bench and the spaceship comes down. It's like 8 seconds, so there's not too much to read into that, but it is just like, okay, this is definitely going to be a different tone. I definitely get Guardians vibes, so I'm very curious to see this overall story and what they do and how that first trailer kind of sets the stakes for what we're going to be getting in about 7 to 8 months when that movie officially comes out. And I'm all for Millie Alcock. I think she's a great actress. She's great in House of the Dragon and everything else that she's been in too. So bring me this trailer. Let me see what it is. Establish a tone. See kind of what the kind of story we're kind of building up to. And I'm very ecstatic to see that movie overall coming out. It's actually one of my more anticipated movies coming out for the superhero genre in the next couple of years. Very excited for that. But we know after Supergirl, we're getting Clayface, and then Man of Tomorrow is 2027. We know villain Brainiac. But who could be Brainiac? Apparently there are some frontrunners, and I'm excited. Those names that are the frontrunners have me kind of pumped to see who we could be getting. Sam Rockwell, love, great talented actor. Matt Smith, another great actor. Claes Bang, his name sounds like it's just, yeah, it sounds like he'd be like in a porno starring it, but he's a good actor too. I've seen him not only in The Northman, that's it, but he's a very good presence too. And then Dave Bautista is one of my, I want to just float out there myself because I would love to see Dave Bautista portray Brainiac. But Rockwell, Matt Smith, and Claes Bang are reportedly the top 3 choices to play Brainiac. All of them would be home run hits, in my opinion, because there's so many different iterations and interpretations of Brainiac that you can kind of pull from and kind of use on the big screen. So it really depends on what you really want, how they want to portray and write his character, and what each actor brings to the table, informing how they want to portray Brainiac and bring that character to life. So I'm very curious about it. Of those 3 that are right there, I think Matt Smith, because of what he brings to the table. In House of the Dragon, he's great. But then you look at something like Morbius, not a very good, terrible movie, honestly, but he brought like a different tone. So I would love to see Matt Smith. My personal pick, Dave Bautista, I would love to see him portray that because I think he's a very talented actor who's diving more and more into like the arts and expressing his talent, and he wants to showcase it. So all 3 of those people plus Dave would be outstanding picks, and apparently the pick is imminent for the casting of Brainiac. I think maybe by the end of the year, into the New Year's, we might find out who Brainiac will be. So very curious about that. And I'm also curious to see if there's going to be a tie-in, maybe like a tease of Brainiac in Supergirl. Maybe he has something to do with the destruction of Krypton. That could be a cool kind of through line and kind of connect each of those movies too. So very curious to see what they do with that, but we'll see where they're kind of going with that. I'm very curious to see like who it is, the portrayal of Brainiac, and how he's going to tie into the larger DC universe. Sticking in the DC universe, Scarlett Johansson, our Black Widow, is going to be diving into the DC universe now, and she's apparently cast in the Batman Part 2 in an unknown role. But there's some things out there. Could be a love interest, could be a villain. We don't know who the villain of that movie actually is. My pick, and I love it, Andrea Beaumont, the Phantasm. The Mask of the Phantasm animated movie is phenomenal. It's so good. And if we can bring that character to life on the big screen for the Batman Part 2, put her in that grounded, gritty Matt Reeves crime-ridden Gotham universe, I think she fits in perfectly in terms of where they're going with that overall universe. It seems like they're building up to the Court of Owls, diving into the Gotham crime lords and everything, like the backstory of it. I think she could be a perfect addition to that role because she helps bring out the Bruce Wayne part of Batman, that persona that he has. And also she can kind of be a formidable foe and villain for him to kind of face off with too. So I think she could be, that would be my top pick, and that's who I would love to see her portray. I don't see them doing Poison Ivy. I don't think for that specific universe and what they've done with the Batman universe, it doesn't really make sense for her powers. It would definitely feel outlandish and kind of like out of place in the tone set. So I don't really see that. She could also be like a reporter, just a normal love interest. But I do think Andrea Beaumont, from a narrative perspective, kind of fits all the things and is the best possible thing. And I would love to see that character brought, because I think the Phantasm is a fabulous character, and her motives and motivations too, with like the crime and then Gotham and all the stuff that goes on, really fits with the kind of narrative and tone and story that Matt Reeves has kind of built for that specific universe. Who do you think Scarlett Jo could be playing? Who do you want to see her portray in that universe? Do you think it could be Andrea Beaumont, or do you want someone completely different, kind of a one-off? Also, it could just be she's just a brand new character written for that story, and I'd be all fine with that too, because I trust Matt Reeves with that universe unconditionally. Now, the surprise hit so far of this year, like in the past couple of days, is Zootopia 2. What this movie is doing at the box office is insane. Think about this. In just 10 days, 2 weeks' time, Zootopia 2 has made $900 million at the box office. Let me say it again, $900 million in 2 weeks at the box office. Insane. It opened to over $500 million. It's the fourth largest opening of all time for any movie ever. It's on the list with Avengers Endgame, which is the number one, obviously, at over $1 billion opening weekend. But over $500 million opening weekend for Zootopia 2 is insane. Now, look back at it. Zootopia was a $1 billion franchise. Like, that first movie was $1 billion. So this one, like, with this large opening, yes, it's shocking, but it shouldn't be surprising the amount of money it's overall making. I think it's in the timing and how much and like how little it's taken for it to get that number is the shocking part. This movie is going to easily clear $1 billion now. Really, the kind of question is how far can it go and where can it hit? I think it's probably going to settle the 1.5 to 1.7. That's insane. Like, Zootopia 3 is already greenlit. Shout out to like the Horse Bros that are like a cops, I believe. CM Punk and Roman Reigns are playing. No, they're Zebra Cops, actually. So I'm glad to see they're like having that. I actually have never seen Zootopia. I'm actually kind of excited to see it now. My parents watched the first one online on streaming, so I'm going to have to watch that first one because I kind of want to see this now in theaters too, because a lot of people are going out to see this one. So, hey, I want to see what all the hype is and what the hubbub is and why it's making so much money. Does it deserve it? It's just super cool to see something like that making so much money in such a little time. Shout out to the Zootopia franchise. And I want to touch on one final thing now, and everyone's probably heard about this, though. Warner Bros. Netflix merger. I hate it. Not even going to sugarcoat it. I hate it. Now, Warner Bros. Is for sale, and they're going to be sold regardless because they have a lot of debt. They're trying to figure it out. Zaslav has righted the ship. Like, for all the shit that he gets online, and people really hate him because he canceled, like, the Batgirl movie. And, I mean, you sure hate him for that, but, like, what he did with Warner Bros. And turning them around into a profitable company, everything they've released this year, like, breaking the record for the most $40 million opening movies, like, he has done good for Warner Bros. And he steered them in the right direction, and they've now sold for a ton of money. And now, the buyer, unfortunately, is Netflix. And Netflix, of course, for years now, we have known that they don't want movies to really be in theaters. Like, the movies like Frankenstein, that should have been a wide theatrical release where it can make a ton of money, but it's antithetical to their very being and what the company represents and what their overall core business model is. Keep you in your house, put out a ton of shit on their streamer, and you'll just constantly watch and build your hours up, and there's so much slop on Netflix. That's really the problem that I have. There's so much just BS movies on there that I just don't think are very good at all, terrible quality, and for every, like, Stranger Things, there's 10 just shows that are just, like, what the fuck ever this is. And so they're anti-theater for the most part. Like, Wake Up Dead Man, a movie that I haven't got a chance to see because it's not really in a theater near me. It's going to be in theaters for a couple weeks, and then it's on streaming the 16th. I would love to see it in theaters. I would pay to see it in theaters with my local theater, but it's nowhere near me. Like, come on, Netflix. Get it together with these wide releases. Now, their CEO, Ted Sarandos, just came out and said, like, oh, we're not going to really screw up the Warner Brothers model. We want to still release all our stuff, but we may have to reevaluate the kind of the theatrical window runtime. And now he's come out and said, even like as recently as this morning, he said, we bought Warner Bros. To dive into the theatrical experience more. It sounds good. I want to take you at your word, at your face value. I love when people tell me something, I want to believe them. But what you also have said and what you represent doesn't really kind of jive with that. So I'm right to be skeptical, in my opinion. And I think we all should be. So we'll see kind of what goes with that. They paid over like $80 billion for Warner Bros. And there's huge hurdles too with if this is even going to happen and be ultimately approved. Touch on two final things that I'm ultimately so excited for, and that will be coming in 2026. The first off is the Punisher special presentation, which John Bernthal has said, hey, we're getting the full Punisher experience. Don't expect anything to be held back. I'm going to be there, and it's going to be as violent and going to really be representative of what the character is. And he said that's supposed to come out around the same time as Spider-Man 4. And of course, we know that he is cast in Spider-Man 4. And if you didn't know, Spider-Man Brand New Day has wrapped filming. I am over the moon giddy for that. I cannot wait for it. No Way Home is one of my all-time favorite movies in terms of the experience and the feelings that it elicited from me. So bring on Brand New Day and all that comes with it, because we know Mark Ruffalo's Hulk is in it. Sadie Sink is a mystery character that no one seems to know, and apparently she's going to be in Doomsday and Secret Wars. So what could her character possibly be? Like, is it Spider-Woman? Is it Spider-Gwen? Who knows? But apparently it's going to be important enough where she's going to be needed in multiple movies down the line. And of course, John Bernthal's going to be in it. I'm so excited to see that dynamic and what's going to be happening. So bring on Spider-Man Brand New Day, bring in that Punisher special presentation, and I hope to get more special presentations for the characters that are needed. It seems like they may be using those special presentations to set up for characters that are going to be in movies, so I'm all for that. Maybe bring on a Nova or a Ghost Rider one. I'm all for it. But that concludes all the movie news that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you here at the same time next Tuesday for all your movie news that's going to be happening within the next week, and we'll see what happens. Also, especially with anything comes up new with that merger with Warner Bros. And Netflix. I love you all. I'll see you guys at theaters. Love you guys. Peace.